including the communications teams who organize these press conferences, have worked tirelessly to help us battle the coronavirus, protect our most vulnerable, inform our populace, and keep our economy going. I thank them all for their dedication, their professionalism, and most of all, their perseverance, as it has been a long year. Thanks to this work, we have been able to enjoy a greater sense of normality than many countries have been able to around the world. It is also thanks to the collective work of all of us that Bermuda continues to be one of the top countries in the world for both testing and for vaccinations. As the Minister of Health just stated, we have now administered 30,481 doses of the COVID vaccine, including launching a walk-in service for those persons who are most vulnerable. Minister, CMO, thank you to you, and thank you for your teams for their hard work in accelerating the pace of vaccinations and putting Bermuda in a strong position. We set a very ambitious target, and we are close to meeting that ambitious target. And you should be proud of what you and your teams have been able to accomplish in difficult circumstances. The truth is, Bermuda, that vaccinations are the only way out of this pandemic. And there is absolutely no way in beating that reality. The world is in a race to stay ahead of the various mutations of the coronavirus and have persons vaccinated to protect them not only from sickness and death, but also to protect them against quarantine if they are exposed. Bermuda, we are in a fortunate place because of an arrangement between the United Kingdom and its overseas territories to supply vaccines. Tomorrow, in my weekly meeting with the governor, I will look to get further clarity on the future supply of vaccines so that we can look to further expand vaccine eligibility in Bermuda. I urge all persons currently eligible to please register online to receive your vaccine and do your part to ensure that Bermuda defeats this deadly virus. As I said on my social media platforms this weekend, coronavirus fatigue is real. We have seen it unfold in other countries and have seen how a single event where regulations are not adhered to can lead to an outbreak here on our island. Bermuda, it is essential that we do not let our guard down. The overwhelming majority of active coronavirus cases in our country are of the so-called UK variant. This strain is known to be more transmissible and more deadly. We are making great progress with our vaccination program, but this progress will slow if we do not contain this outbreak, as we'll have to put more resources to do contact tracing and less resources to do vaccinations. To do your part to assist with this effort, ensure when you do go out, if you're a business owner and you have a business where people frequent, ensure that your customers and you and your staff are using the WeHealth app. This will help you with exposure notifications and can minimize the impact on your business and on your life. We have an efficient vaccination program underway and have an extremely accessible and aggressive testing regime and the scientific capabilities to determine which variants are present on our island. These are vital tools that we will continue to use to keep our island safe and our economy running. If you're eligible, get vaccinated. If you are not, get tested and know your status. Along with the technology and vaccines that we have, we can all continue to take personal responsibility in our everyday lives to control the spread. I echo the Minister of Health's consistent reminders on making sure that we practice good hand hygiene, that we wear a mask that fully covers our nose and mouth when in public, and to ensure that you maintain your distance from others. The next 6 weeks are critical and will require us all to do our part to break the chains of transmission while we continue to vaccinate our seniors and our most vulnerable. Earlier today, in line with the recommendations for the Ministry of Health, with the support of the COVID-19 Cabinet Committee, and due to the current outbreak, the Cabinet had agreed to the following. All current restrictions will remain in place as they are for a further 2 weeks. This includes the curfew, which, due to the continued presence of the highly transmissible UK variant, will continue to be implemented from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. Due to the continuance of the curfew, all businesses are required to close at 11. The boat curfew remains at 8 p.m. The maximum number of persons for group gatherings in a public or private setting remains at 25. Outdoor funerals can be attended by up to 50 persons, and funeral homes are under strict instructions to ensure that the health precautions are practiced at funeral settings. Indoor funerals can hold up to 25% of the maximum capacity for the venue in which they are held, and table size in restaurants, bars, and clubs remains at a maximum of 10 persons. All measures will be reviewed by the Cabinet again in 2 weeks' time. There was a discussion within the government as to whether we should tighten restrictions due to the amount of cases, but in the end, it was decided that the 98% of whom are following the rules should not suffer for the 2% who are not, or should I say, should further suffer for the 2% who are not. We have seen persons arrested who will be brought before the courts for breaking these rules. Whether these rules are broken in a private home or within a business, there will be consequences. The government takes no joy in persons being charged, but we will continue to take a forceful approach towards breaches of the regulations to protect public health and to protect our economy. The government is not saying stay in your homes. The government is not saying do not go out. What we are asking you to do is, if you do go out, ensure that you go to a place or a gathering that abides by the regulations so you do not put you, your family, and your livelihood at risk. Do not go to an event or gathering where there are more than 25 people. Do not go to events and gathering where people are not wearing their masks. Do not go to a gathering where people are not practicing social distancing. And do not go to a gathering when people are huddled indoors. We are dealing with an outbreak at present, but it is important to acknowledge that we are in a much different place than where we were in November. Thankfully, we have a significant amount of our elderly and vulnerable population vaccinated, and we continue that pace of vaccination. Earlier this week, COVID exposures were identified in Delwood Middle School and Northlands Primary Schools. Based on the level of exposure and the quick work of the Department of Health conducting risk assessments, the affected persons have been quarantined and the schools have been cleared to remain open after deep cleaning of the affected areas was completed. Late this afternoon, the Ministry of Education was alerted to a potential COVID exposure at Whitney Institute. As per protocols, a letter from the Department of Health has been sent to all staff and parents. A risk assessment is being carried out at the school, and further details will be sent once the risk assessment has been completed. The COVID protocols in place that allowed our schools to open have been regularly reviewed and updated as necessary. And it is a testament to those protocols and the hard work of our school leaders and our educators and the progress that we have made that we can keep our schools safely open, even in the case of isolated exposures. Last night, the Bermuda Football Association announced that the local football season will not continue. It is the government's understanding that this decision was made democratically, with the individual clubs voting and voicing their reasons as to why. The government gave permission to football to recommence and was hopeful that through the staged return to play initiative managed by the Ministry of Youth, Culture, and Sport, in partnership with the BFA, Bermuda could enjoy a return to local competitive football as safely as possible. I am personally very disappointed for those young people who have been training, undergoing the necessary testing, and anyone involved in preparing for the restart of the season. I thank all the volunteers who worked to help with the testing that took place to ensure that football, competitive football, could restart safely. However, the government respects the decision of our local football clubs, and we will not question it. The permission to resume football has been given by the government, and if there is an opportunity for the clubs to reconsider, then I hope they will do so. so that our young people can return to what they love, competitive sport. Some have questioned why football will not return, but international events are moving ahead. I want to be clear on this and reiterate again. The government did give permission for football to restart and agreed with the BFA a strategy for how they could do so safely. Sadly, the local clubs have made the decision not to continue the season. The government did not make the decision for them, nor does the government make the decision for any event that is proposed. Last year, permission was given for many sporting events, and the same permissions that were given to the Bermuda Cricket Board for cricket matches was given to the World Rugby Tens last year. Both of those sports and events made the decision to commence under the guidelines provided, while the Eastern Counties Cricket Association decided that they did not wish to hold their competition under the rules that were outlined. The government provides the guidelines, and organizations decide whether they wish to go ahead or not. Any events which are safely able to take place will hopefully benefit our economy and our local organizations. Earlier this month, the government presented grants to three historically black sailing clubs: East End Mini Yacht Club, West End Sailboat Club, and the Mid Atlantic Boat Club to assist them with facility upgrades so they can be involved in Sail GP's local initiatives. We were committed to supporting these clubs and recognize that if we can find sponsorship money to support international events, we can also find funds to help our local sailing clubs. We also presented grants to six other local sporting and community clubs, totaling over $398,000 to assist them in upgrades to their facilities and purchasing of essential equipment. These grants have already supported projects at clubs such as the Devonshire Recreation Club, St. David's Cricket Club, and Harrington Workmen's Club, which has helped Bermudians give Bermudians work by improving local clubs that serve our community. Through initiatives such as these and the numerous projects which are taking place under the Economic Stimulus Program, currently underway and managed by the Ministry of Public Works, and people who are driving around the country will see signs that have been erected that are showing all the projects which have been sponsored by the Economic Stimulus Program. We are continuing the process of enhancing our infrastructure while continuing to support local, small, and medium businesses as they continue to provide employment. In addition to supporting local businesses, we are also continuing to create opportunities for Bermudians within our tourism industry. Last week, accompanied by the Junior Minister of Labor, Senator Ariana Hodgson, I announced a new partnership with the St. Regis Hotel to provide training and employment for Bermudians within their organization. The opening of the St. Regis will see 90 jobs created in the initial phase, and training programs with the support of the Ministry of Labor will help Bermudians to excel in these roles. I thank the owners of the St. Regis for their commitment to Bermuda and the confidence they have shown in our country during what has undoubtedly been a very difficult year and a challenging time to open a hotel. We have tools in our arsenal, such as the We Health app, to assist us in managing the spread of the coronavirus, as well as capacity for regular testing. It is up to all of us to help to manage this outbreak. Whether you are in a school tomorrow, in a church on Saturday or Sunday, in a restaurant or bar this weekend, please continue to adhere to the regulations that are in place. It is only us that can stop this current outbreak as we continue to vaccinate our population. As I wrap up, we know that many in our community may need extra emotional support. If you need someone to talk with, please call the Emotional Wellbeing Hotline. That number is 543-1111 and is operated from Monday to Saturday from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Again, that number is 543-1111. To get accurate, reliable, and timely information from the government of Bermuda, sign up for the government's WhatsApp service. Add the phone number 504-6045 to your contacts and send us a simple message saying hi, and you will receive WhatsApp updates from the governor of Bermuda. Of course, you can always download the Tree Frog app to get notifications on all matter of news from the government of Bermuda directly to your smartphone. With that, I'm happy to take questions on behalf of the people of Bermuda from the representative